Hey guys, Supercurse Productions here, and today I'm going to be doing my first video of 2018, which is my Team RWBY Volume 5 Custom Minifigure Showcase. Now, I think I may have mentioned this before in my New Year's video, but I guess I'll just mention it here again. I got into Team RWBY by seeing 97 Lego Maniacs, Team RWBY Custom Minifigure Showcase, and watching his other videos and a few other characters he's made, and it got me interested in checking out the show, so I did, and I ended up binging the first 4 volumes in the first week of November, caught myself up on Volume 5, I really enjoyed this show. I think I've seen almost every episode about 3 times now, and I decided that I would make Team RWBY, and also ended up making Zwei and Ying's motorbike Bumblebee. Also, today is the official release date for the RWBY Volume 5 finale. So it's not out on YouTube yet, but it is out on the Rooster Teeth website. So I decided, since today is the official date for the finale, that I would upload the showcase today. But yeah guys, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the showcase video. Alright guys, so here we have the first figure. It is the leader of Team RWBY, Ruby Rose. And I'll give you guys a full 360 of her. Now, unlike most people who said that RWBY was the first figure that they started and finished, for me that wasn't the case. She was actually the 3rd figure that I started and finished. And I'll get her size out of the way so you guys can take a better look at the figure. Now, starting from the top, the hairpiece was a short female minifigure hairpiece with the sides cut off and the bangs sculpted on. I painted the hair in black and painted the bottom in a dark red to give it the dyed look that her hair has, since her hair is dyed red. Her eyes were painted in silver, since in the show she's supposed to have silver eyes. The hood is from Cape Madness, and it can fold onto her head. And the cape is an actual Lego cape, which I cut up the bottoms, give it the rip look that it has. I sculpted and glued on the rose to the front of her cape, and I glued the hood to the cape as well, so it's all removable as one piece, which makes it easier to take it off. Now, all the detail on her I thought was going to be really hard to do, but it was surprisingly really easy. A lot of it's mostly electrical tape, like the straps that go over her shoulders, the strap over her chest, the straps on her arms, the cuffs around her wrist. She's using an Aerialite curved torso with the bottom of it like electrical tape for her corset that she has wrapped on her shirt, and then the corset strings are actual string that I cut and glued onto a piece of electrical tape. The belt is made from electrical tape with the bullet pouch sculpted onto the side, and the skirt is made from my own fabric. The boots have electrical tape wrapped all around them, and for her straps, and her tights, I painted them in dark red and painted the flesh color on top of them for like the ripped look that it has. And the bottom of her boots are painted in a light red color. Now I'll try and quickly stall right here to put her hood back on. All my RWBY figures, I painted a custom base for them that just has the word RWBY painted onto it with the red R painted in red since her initial. And Crescent Rose, it was fairly easy to do. I just made it from a bunch of cardboard pieces cut up and glued together, and a bunch of other Lego pieces as well. It has a flex tube, a 1x1 tile filled in with Procreate, and 2 Wolverine claws that give it a removable feature from the actual gun base. There is an antenna here, an antenna for the handle, an antenna for the back, a flex tube also on the back, with a little piece of a flex tube on the tail. Now the actual base was made from a Lego rifle with the stock scope and handle cut off, modified, and glued back on onto different parts of the actual base of her scythe. Now, I did make another piece for her scythe for the sniper mode with a flex tube and cardboard pieces, and I do have this little handle here so she can hold it in the sniper mode. And that's about it for this figure, and guess I'll just quickly stall and put her scythe back together. Yeah, so that's about it for Ruby Rose. Weiss was actually the first figure that I started and completed, and she's also my favorite character from the show, and I'll give you guys a full 360 of her. She's also one of the easiest figures to make out of Team RWBY. They were all easy, but Weiss was the easiest one to make and the simplest. I'll get her sword out of the way so you guys can take a better look at the figure. Now, the hairpiece was a short ponytail hairpiece with the ponytail cut off, and I filled in the gap with Procreate. I extended the ponytail with more Procreate and attached the original ponytail piece that I cut off to the bottom of the ponytail. I sculpted the little tiara, and I sculpted the bangs, and the hairpiece is removable. The face that I painted, I think I got the likeness to Weiss pretty well, and then her earrings were both sculpted on. Now, the torso was a dark gray area-like curved torso with a little jewel sculpted on, and I painted the bottom half of it in my own blue color. Her family symbol, the snowflake, was painted onto her back, and she does have a electrical tape belt. The skirt was made from my own fabric, painted in white with electrical tape wrapped around the top to give it the same texture as the torso. Her heels were painted onto regular light flesh legs in a dark blue color. And she also has this little piece that I attached to the back of her skirt. It is a removable piece, but I have it there. It's a fabric piece that I wrapped it over and glued together and left a little gap there so it can act as a sword sheath for her sword. Holds it in there pretty well. Now, like the rest of Team RWBY, Weiss has a custom painted base with the word RWBY painted on and her initial highlighted in white. And stick that there. Now, Murdenaster was probably one of the simplest weapons to make. It was just a katana piece with the blade cut off, and I replaced that with a toothpick and a little flex tube for the dust barrel, and the hammer on the side was made from cardboard that I cut out the shape and glued it on. The little dust barrel can spin, but since the space is so small, I have to demonstrate it with a needle. It does have all 6 colors painted onto it: the red, dark blue, light blue, white, purple, and yellow. And I guess so that's about it for Weiss. Blake Belladonna was actually the second figure I finished from Team RWBY. I finished her right after Weiss. She was also another easy figure to do, and I didn't make these in any order. I just did them for which figure I had the parts for, mainly. But I'll give you guys a full 360 of her. And I'll just remove her weapon from her hand for now. Now, starting from the top, the hairpiece was one of these long female hair pieces with the front cut off. I sculpted the bangs, sculpted the cat ears, painted that in my own black color. And the face, I painted her eyes in the yellow color, and I painted the blue eyeshadow that she has at the top of her eyes. Her jacket was made out of fabric painted white with the inside painted purple. The strap is my own fabric that I made. The arms have like the little buttons painted onto the bottom. And I used an area-like curved torso for her as well. Her jacket is removable. And I'll just remove that so you guys can see all the details better. Like I said, the jacket is removable along with the strap. The inside is painted white. I do have some light flesh arms I can give her. So I'll just pop these on really quick. So she has a flesh-colored, area-like curved torso with her crop top shirt painted on. And I did paint the neck the head in a black color. Now her belt was a regular white hip piece with all the detail painted on, and the little pouch is a removable pouch that I sculpted onto a piece of fabric. Now her legs were regular black legs with the heels cut into the bottom, and I wrapped the boots around with electrical tape to give them a 3D look, leather 3D look. It has her symbol painted onto both sides. This side actually has an electrical tape strap that goes around the bottom of the leg. Now, one problem I do have with the legs are they kind of come to a point at the bottom. I don't know why. I tried pushing them in at the top, but for some reason that doesn't work. And I'll quickly put her back together here. So there we go, final arm, and Blake also has a custom base that I painted. The B is painted in a shiny black, so it kind of stands out better with the light. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there is the B painted in black. The rest of the letters are painted in gray. Now, Gamble Shroud was another weapon that was easy to do. The sheath is actually made from cardboard with a handle glued to the top and a little magnet glued right there. And I'll show you why in just a second. But she can actually hold that. And then the actual katana, I used the blade that I cut off from Weiss's sword, and I attached that to a Lego Clone Wars gun using a little metal wire piece. So the blade can actually fold down, and I covered the top with cardboard pieces just so it holds the blade in better. And the rope piece that she has attached to the bottom of her gun, I made that out of electrical tape. It did get some white from her jacket rubbed onto the inside, even though I did try to seal the inside so it doesn't stick to anything. But she can fit the sword into her sheath. Now, like I said, the little magnet I added to the back is because there's a magnet that I glued onto the back of her hairpiece, so she can hold her weapon on her back, just like in the show. And, I guess, so that's about it for Blake Belladonna, and now we can go ahead and move on to the final figure. Alright guys, so here is the final figure. It is Xiao Long, and I gave you guys a full 360 of her. One thing you guys are probably going to notice is the back of her hair has holes, and those holes were left from the yellow paint drying with bubbles, and it left craters in the back of the hair. I did try to fill them in with more yellow paint, but it didn't really work out that well. So she has holes in her hair, which I guess is fine, but I sculpted her bangs and all the extra strands of hair. I painted her face. I glued fabric to her neck, because she has like the a part of her jacket tied around her neck, and she does have a double-sided expression that I painted that shows when she activates her semblance and she gets angry, her eyes turn red, which I think actually looks a lot like her. I glued electrical tape pieces to the top of the jacket, and I painted them in dark brown. I glued a fabric piece here for her open jacket collar. I glued a 3D zipper piece, and I painted all the zippers and buttons and everything onto the jacket. The sleeves were just made with fabric that I wrapped around the top to give it a rolled effect. I painted in the same tan color with dark brown lines to the top, and that is on both sides. Her mechanical arm was just a black minifigure arm that I painted in a gunmetal gray, and I sculpted the plates for her arm, a little forearm plate, the elbow plate, a plate on the top of her hand, and I painted all the lines onto there, carved out a thumb. The other arm is basically the same thing, except for this arm, I used a flesh arm with I painted black at the top to make her black glove that she wears, and I painted the fingers onto this arm. And she can remove her jacket. I did paint the orange tank top that she wears under there. She's also using an area-like curved torso like the rest of my RWBY figures. If I can get it off, you can see the orange tank top, and this was a tan torso because I didn't realize I needed a flesh-colored one, so I painted all the detail onto there. And I can quickly get everything back on. The bottom of her jacket I made separate like she has it in the show. I wanted to make the belt and everything separate as well, but that didn't happen. So she can, this can be removed as a separate piece, but the belt is glued onto it. The inside is painted in orange, and the legs were just plain black legs with brown boots painted on, and electrical tape pieces wrapped around there, and purple fabric wrapped around her left leg. If I can get this piece to go back on. Now, that piece will go back on. There we go. On to Ember Celica. It was a very simple weapon to make. Probably the easiest one out of all the Team RWBY's weapons. It was just made from a handcuff piece. I filled in the bottom with Procreate, sculpted the top, and it can go onto her hand. It is removable like you saw before. Now, she does have her custom base painted with the words RWBY and her initial highlighted in yellow. Something else that I made for Yang was her motorcycle Bumblebee, which I made from a regular orange dirt bike. I sculpted and I cut the front off. I sculpted my own front piece on. I shortened the front wheel. I added this piece of tape that was closed off on both sides so it wouldn't be sticky for the little windshield. Even though the front wheel was shortened, the top is still too high. There's this little piece I added for a kickstand. The whole thing was dry brushed into my own yellow and orange, different shades of yellow and orange to get the color you see here. And then I painted all the black detail onto that. She can sit on the motorcycle like a regular minifigure, and she can hold onto it as well. Let's see if I can move this arm. But yeah guys, so that's about it for Xiao Long, and now we can move on to and I dropped her. Now we can move on to the final part of the showcase, if this will stand here. I guess that's not gonna stand, but that was Xiao Long. Now the final thing we have here for this showcase is RWBY, which was based off of, I made this entirely, copied a 97 LEGO Maniacs design where he used the dog from the Dog Trainer minifigure pack. I did exactly the same thing he did because I feel like there's no better way to make RWBY, which I shortened the tail, shortened the neck, filled it in with Procreate. I made his collar, and I glued, actually sculpted that little coin there at the front, and I painted the little bone onto it. I painted all the detail, the black and everything, his mouth, and that's about it for RWBY, and now we can go ahead and end this video. Alright guys, that's about it for this video. I really hope you guys liked it as much as I enjoyed making these figures. Now, I am planning to make a bunch more RWBY figures. I still have all these work in progress figures that I started and never finished. One update though I have is Roman Torchwick. I originally painted his eye brown. I realized it was dark. It was a green color. So I painted it in green, and I also added extra hair on the side of his hat. Cinderfall, she's almost done. I started a new figure, which is Gira Belladonna. I started on Winter Schnee, but I never finished her. And Crow Bronwyn is complete. And then my newest figure from 2018 is Oscar Pine, which I plan to finish all those. I don't know when, though. And I also started on Neo, which I don't know when I'm going to finish her either, along with Lyren, Pyrrha Nikos, Nora Valkyrie, and Jean Arc, the 4 members of Team Juniper. I don't know when I'm going to finish those. I will finish them, I just don't know when, mainly because Infinity War is coming out, and I wanna, now that I'm done with Team RWBY, I'm gonna try and prioritize Infinity War a little bit more than my RWBY figures to try and make the release date for the movie. These are like all the bases for the figures that I have. So you may not see as many RWBY figures from me, but I'll still be making them, working on them. And I guess that's about it for this video. Really hope you guys liked it. If you did, be sure to leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. And that's about it. And bye.